Uh-oh. I am back. The questions, though. I think it was OBS that crashed. I looked over and my hands were just in the middle of the screen and my guy wasn't moving. I looked down and it just said 0 kilobits per second. But it was like still on and you guys were talking and chat was moving. So I have no clue what that was. We'll see if it crashes again. There is a plugin I need to uninstall, I think. But we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Supposedly we're back up over on YouTube as well. Which I'm actually not happy with because it cycled me out of the video I was already doing. Why you gotta be this way, OBS? Why you gotta do this to me? Like, it wasn't even drop frames. It just decided to disconnect. Alright, hopefully it's fine now. I am going to need to look into, if this crashes again, a way to start streaming back to the original system. Maybe if there's like a key I can look at. I don't know. Alright, fingers crossed. So yeah, the idea here is that I gotta get that held. This thing is so crazy looking. try to clear some of this glue. I'm gonna have to look into, I don't know, I gotta look into something for OBS, because it does, every time I pop it on, it's like, yo, this didn't close properly, you want to start in safe mode? But I'm pretty sure it does close properly every time I close it. It doesn't, like, have issues, it just takes a second and then closes, so I don't know why. Always something, man. Always some tech problem. Alright, how we doing this? I mean, OBS is still the best way to do it. It's just, I wanted to do like a restreaming thing, so I installed this whole suite of mods. Because I also wanted to record using OBS. I wanted to record my battle reports. And there was a way to do it where you could record individual, like, cameras. So if I clicked record, it would record like 4 different sources all at once to a single folder, which is what I wanted. So there's a ton of stuff built into my OBS that could be causing problems for it. Alright, so we got to do the jewelry that goes the whole way around this. Yeah. This is going to end up being about as wide as a Demon Prince with wings. So this would end up being the 3rd Demon Prince with wings for my Emperor's Children. I think that would honestly be the better way to do it. Get the jewelry on. So 45, 47. Is there back jewelry? No. Good. God, dude, this is so thin. I'm very scared for clipping this off. Please don't shatter. What you up to, Broshi? So I beat Hades 2. Or rather, I'm not going to say I beat it. I'm going to say I rolled credits and did a little bit of endgame. And then I uninstalled it. I don't know. I felt like the writing was pretty weak comparatively. I've come to expect great things from the publisher. Or the developer, rather. And I did not see it this time around. It didn't have the impact of Bastion or Transistor or even the first Hades. We'll see. We'll see if I'm still on or if OBS decides I'm going to have technical issues all night until I, have to spend the rest of the night figuring that out. Because I do want to have it, working before I get to my airbrush point. But good luck getting your new phone. Tiny jewelry. So this is weird. I'm gonna make sure all of these cables are decent. Make sure there's no excess, which is hilarious to say for the Lord of Excess. So the way to glue this on, there's these little dots the whole way around. What's the dot that I have to end at? Okay. So it is little by little. Dot, dot, but you got to be kind of quick with it because this will dry. Dot, dot. I really should have held on to the money. Part of me does want to get the stealth suit team. I think those will be really fun to paint. Stealth suits are always interesting to paint. Because you got the people who either just paint them as, like, metal paneling. Or you have the psychopaths like me who are going to try to pick the world that they're in. And then do a lot of, like, sort of, almost chameleon-like, or rather like the octopus, right? Like, that's more the approach. The octopus that can change its textures and stuff. I put glue on parts I didn't need to put them on. Wipe it off real quick before it dries too much. To those out there wondering, yes, this is a peacock situation made of flesh because it's directly connected to the bare back of the person that it's related to, because that's how Slaanesh works. I had a weird experience not that long ago, a couple days ago. Not weird necessarily. So, the way I entertain myself is watching a specific community of Grand Theft Auto roleplay people, and they're kind of in a downturn right now because of like a lot of falling out and stuff that occurred. So they're kind of occasionally doing things as like a friend group in gaming. And I was editing and I wasn't really thinking about it. But then I kind of looked over, I saw a few of them were live, and I was like, oh, cool, I wonder what they're doing today. They were playing Hell Let Loose. That's my game. I love that game. I play the hell out of that game. And my first thought was, awesome. And then my second thought was, ah, crap. Because that is not, like... That's not a game that's just, like, straight up... Hey, man. Hop into this. No tutorials. Don't look at people on YouTube that are going to show you the really cool mechanics and stuff that you're going to need to know. Watch the 20-minute long videos going over how the classes work and things you have to be doing to actually play your class effectively. And I was pretty sure everyone hopped into this being like, this is kind of like Battlefield, right? So I went to one of the channels for like the people who don't get like as many viewers as the others. And I tried to help them so much. They were getting shredded by tanks at this one point, and he was like, God, we have no real way of dealing with them. I don't know why they're dealing with us as infantry. They should be dealing with the other tanks, like our tanks. To which I went, are you sure you have tanks? And then I showed him like how to check for his armored teams and stuff. Because this was a private server that they got to play the game as like a big group, which was cool. I mean, that's kind of the coolest way to do it. But they were not prepared for pretty much any of that game. Like, the guy I was watching, his biggest complaint was the fact that he never seemed to be able to see any of his enemies. And I'm like, yes. That's kind of part of the game. You have to get intel. You have to try to figure out where your opponent is and kind of the directions to look. He's like, but I don't know where they're coming from. And then I had to describe the like flow of flanking and stuff to him to be like, all right, so they might flank you, but if you look at your map, the red section's where they're actually coming from. So expect them to come from that way, and then naturally start to think for yourself where you should be looking, what you should be doing. Like, Hell Let Loose is an acquired skill of a game. Whereas Battlefield and Call of Duty are a game that has a bunch of tools in it that, like, make you play the game without really thinking about it. There's a reason why it has such a larger player base, right? Like the Call of Duty and Battlefield style things. You don't need to learn it. You just hop in and play, and it'll pretty much play itself. So to pop into Hell Let Loose and be like, this is going to be the same thing, right? I talked him into getting into a tank, because I was like, dude, you don't have a tank crew. Try to get in a tank. There's probably just tanks sitting back at your base from the beginning of the game. And him and like two other people just randomly did after he brought it up in chat. With like command chat and everything. Fred Foxhole is okay. That's the persistent one, right? I still just prefer, for me, I prefer Hell Let Loose. I've had so many fun fights in that game. Once you graduate from the school of, I wonder how this works, you start doing crazy things. And I remember having to like explain to it, because every now and then I'll go back in and there'll be a free weekend, and I'll always have to explain to people why it's a dumb idea to do certain things. Like the amount of times I've been yelled at by like my squad mates when I'm off the hardpoint objective, just off to like the east or west or whatever, like one of the flanks. I'm just sitting on one of the flanks. And whoever's like in my squad is like, why are you over there? That doesn't really hold the point. And I'm like, have you been hit from this flank yet? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's why I'm over here. I've killed like 20 people. Or I could go sit on the main objective. And then as I sit on the main objective, I could get hit by a mortar. Or get flanked from one of the sides or even like our back. Because when you leave the flanks open, the enemy will take advantage. And like shortly into explaining that, like all of a sudden the rest of the squad and like even some other squads start to fan out from the point. It's like, yes, yes. Teaching the scrubs. I used to play, and this game doesn't exist anymore, I think. I think it was called Eternal War. It was the Warhammer 40k one. And that one was a persistent game. Sort of. You had to pick one of, I think, what? It was Chaos, Space Marines, Orcs, and I want to say Orcs. Yeah, it was Orcs and Eldar. So you could have 4 factions. You could have characters in each faction, so you could just play whatever. You didn't get, like, locked into one. And they had these giant maps, and you were supposed to, like, complete missions, try to either conquer the map or just do, like, logistical things. And it was meant to change the ownership of zones on a much larger map. And then after like a month or so, they would like look at the results and give you rewards for each of your factions that you have characters in that participated based on participation and end result. It was such a cool idea. And it was kind of cheap to get into. I wouldn't have bought into it if it wasn't cheap. Because the moment you tell me, hey man, there's 4 factions and you have to play a character specifically in those factions. And the factions won't fight themselves, they'll only fight other factions. That's the moment you look at it and go, so there's only Chaos versus Space Marines, is what you're telling me. And yeah, that's what it was. I think there was one day a week where like 100 people would log into their orc characters and they would do orcs versus whatever. But man, you'd never get into an Eldar game. I think I got into one Eldar game my total time of playing, and it was actually really cool because they have grab vehicles and like all kinds of crazy weaponry. And when you have howling banshees running at you and you like hear that scream, you're just like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. Pretty sure there were banshees. I think there were scorpions. I can't remember if there were banshees. Pretty sure it was called Eternal War too. The visuals in it weren't great. I'll give it that. They had like pretty bare bones visuals. But man, that game hit different. I think there might be some clips on my Twitch from that game. Because there were things like the power fists in the game actually did like physics-based impact as well as damage. So if someone was trying to ram you with a rhino and you hit them with your power fist just before that happened, you would toss the rhino. So depending on your angle, you could actually like huck a rhino into the abyss. But yeah, the person I was watching, his biggest criticism of Hell Let Loose was the fact that like it wasn't fast paced. Like if you get a little bit too ADHD and actiony, you're probably gonna die. And you're gonna die from like a random spot, and it's gonna make you mad. Where is my sprue goo? And, like, it's one of those situations where I really wished I could have been like, yo, get in voice. I'm going to describe this game to you. I'm going to unlock your idea of how this is supposed to work. That way you feel great when you're playing. Because I wanted to be like, look at your map. You know topography from the map. Pick a spot that you think is a good spot for you and your squad to hold to make sure a flank doesn't get hit. If you guys are on the objective as the team that's on the objective, you need to be on the objective. You need to have supplies and an engineer, maybe build a small bunker so mortars won't kill you. You got stuff you got to do. But watching him and two randos hop into a tank for the first time, that was awesome. That made my day. Yeah. So the best games I've played in Hell Let Loose involve usually a squad lead who knows the names of locations. Because usually that kind of a squad lead will be like, we have to go hold this town or we're going to lose the front. And the town is never like on the hard point. It's always slightly away from the hard point. And it's like, ah, yes, somebody who gets it. Somebody who knows. So you're sitting in a town for like 45 minutes trying to make sure no one breaks through that side. Therefore, your team will be good on the front line. I remember when me and my squad, we had a squad lead who knew how to talk to command chat, but he didn't quite understand like what we should have been doing. So when I started talking about like where we should be in the town that we were holding, because we were the on hardpoint team, he was like, all right, dude, manage the squad while I figure out where we need to like get Artie going, and I'll relay messages. I was like, all right, man. Dude, we held a church town. It was like a church, some graveyard on one side, a bunch of walls, some blown out buildings on another. We, as a 6-man squad, I want to say, is all we had. I think it was a 6-man. Might have been a 5. We held against like 30 people. We would find like weird angles. I would call out when the waves were coming in from what side. Our MG guy would constantly shift while we were distracting, like, people with just small arms fire low. And then he would just hose down, like, 10 people and go back. We did that for, like, maybe 25 minutes solid. Before we actually captured the forward point. Like, they just hard pushed us with too many people. They didn't have enough defense. So we crumpled their D, took over their next zone, and it didn't matter anymore. It was awesome. We were calling out where we thought their spawning points were. We had a guy who was like going wide on flanks to find their OPs and freaking garrisons to cut them down and make sure they didn't have the ability to come back and get us from those sides. It was crazy. It was so stupidly crazy. So yeah. This is going to be a sub-assembly piece now. Because we're going to want it to be kind of cool. I want it to have like some really nice gradiated colors coming out. I think that'll be good. So we'll get the body done now. And we'll just leave these separate. So tiny by comparison. Try to balance this. Two NSFW for camera. There you go. This is going to be an awesome Slaanesh Demon Prince. I don't know why OBS crashed. It seems to be fine now. We're 30 minutes in. I think it only made it like 15 before. I still need to uninstall the plugin. Or update it. I gotta figure out what to do with it. I kind of want to play Hell Let Loose now. I got so much to do. I need to talk to that kill team crowd. I need to see if any of them are more local to me, and we can play games up here. Because, man, driving out that way just to play, like, one game at, like, a late night hour, I don't know. I don't know if I'm down. So we need 4 and 5. Oh, that's not 4. There's multiple legs? I figured it would just be the same regular body and like a different head. And back. There's a lot of legs here. So that leg needs 8. This leg needs 5. Our feet are in another castle, it seems. Yep. But yeah, good victory. A bunch of new players, though. And like I was trying to say like an hour ago before OBS decided to kerfuffle itself, there is still a lot of gaps in people's knowledge of how the rules work. Like, I did notice a few people, I kind of let it slide. A few people were considering climbing up to vantage point on terrain to be like, you could do it from under terrain kind of situation. I think the main reason I let it slide was because the faction I was playing didn't really care about terrain. So... I should have played Harlequins. I was debating Harlequins. I learned my Mandrakes. I really wanted to play Mandrakes because I played like 5 games with them prior. And then we sat here for 2 hours talking about all the rules and how they interact. I felt the most primed to use Mandrakes in combat. And yeah, I picked Surveillance every game. There was zero reason for me not to pick Surveillance as Mandrakes. I would just reappear somewhere in the enemy region and just surveil someone. The guy that was running the tournament also noticed that I was using the exact same strategy every single time. I would always toss a good chunk of my team on top of a 3rd story vantage. Basically controlling the mid passageways. I felt obliged to inform everyone that I had picked Mandrakes before seeing the map. So it wasn't like I saw the map and went, oh, I know it'll dominate in here. It very much was like, I don't really care what map we play, I want to play Mandrakes. Gotta find the spot where this locks. I wonder if that's what my buddy was talking about. Because I have a friend who just got married. Like, not that long ago. And he did exactly what you would expect. Like, he basically was just like, I'm married. And we all were like, all right, goodbye. And like, yeah. But recently he was like, all right, stuff's starting to die down. So I'll be able to play games again. And part of me was kind of hoping he was like, we'll figure out times to meet up and play Kill Team or something. But I think he might be looking to just play like Hell Let Loose again. Because that was the combo. It was me and him and Hell Let Loose. Figure out how to put this together over here, or is it here? yeah, part of me was trying to look at the Discord for this group yesterday to see if they were going to talk about like meeting up or anything. But they don't really have like set times. No one really says if they're actually going to go. So like, I think one of them showed up at 6 p.m. and was like, I'm here if anyone wants to play. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I want to play, but I kind of wanted to know that you would have been there. Because I could have met at the time as opposed to like needing to be like, all right, I'll see you in a half an hour. Oof. Big oof, as Broshi likes to say. Dem thighs, Broshi. This is gonna be hard. All right, where's the tail? Number 3, and then I need 10 and 9. What's up, Dark Mage? Doing all right. Doing okay. Could always be better. Could always be worse. Got credits to roll in Hades 2. Took 40 hours. Kind of like not happy about that. I don't know. It felt like a big journey for something that I didn't really care about. Can't wait to talk about it on the gaming podcast tomorrow that I'm on. Get a bunch of people mad. I just don't think you like games. No, I just demand more for people. Gonna make me be happy about something. It's gonna be a good time. I might even go all out and just spoil the game. Hades 2? Nah. Hades 2. I do stuff with, like, computer games, consoles. It's a channel I edit for, which is probably one of the bigger reasons why I haven't been making videos on my YouTube channel recently. I feel a little, like, way burned out. Like, I have ideas and I just don't do them because I'll be like, oh, do I really want to do that, or do I want to just like sit and stare into the void? I wish we lived in a world where these streams could be my videos. People would swing out just to talk about the state of the game, fun stuff going on, just be us hanging out, chatting live. But you seem to need to like be of a certain disposition to get that to work, and I feel like it's only really like hype men that can pull that off. People who are just super excited about everything for what appears to be no reason. I just don't have that energy, man. I can't be hyped about everything. I gotta hold it back. I feel like it's kind of a waste to approach a lot of stuff like that. Because, like, then when that thing comes out that is worth the hype, right? That thing that comes out that makes you go like, oh yeah. It almost belittles it. I had to default to, alright, we'll see how it works. But I move within the circles and realms of people who are like, yo, you see that symbol in that trailer? That means all this is gonna happen, and I'm super hyped about it. It's like, you sure? You sure? You sure that's all gonna happen? 100%. Behold the actual height. And this is the base size for the Demon Prince. So it is perfect. This will be such a good Demon Prince with wings. The third and final Emperor's Children Demon Prince with wings that I need. Let's see what we got here. 12 and 11. My ulterior motive for wanting to get a narrative game in tomorrow or Sunday is to get a base the guy that runs the store has like this big box in the back of like all random bases. So it's usually one of the best ways to get like a Demon Prince base or like a what did I got the base size for the Defiler. So now I feel a little more confident in using my Defiler that I made full conversion. Because it is on the proper base size. Super good. Super good. I kind of want to go there, buy something from him, and then ask if he has a Demon Prince sized base. Yeah, I can't wait. Tomorrow on the podcast, hey, what'd you do? Oh, I rolled credits on Hades 2. Was it good? Eh. It's just, I'm going to have to debate like all night whether or not I'm going to just straight spoil it. Oh, holy crap. Okay. Whoever made the Slanesh models at Games Workshop, like, they need a raise. They need to, like, run a whole department. The layering is absurd. Because, like, it creates crazy gaps. Like this. Because then even that dot there on the middle, like the, where, come on. All right, I'm gonna. Like the planning from the model to be like, or from the modeling person to be like, all right, that dot's gonna be attached to this, and then that'll go over top of the other one. Oh, it's so cool. Hover Demon. And then the fact that not only that's there, but with the sub-assembly component, that it just fits perfectly over top of it. I think. Oh, is this going to be an oddity? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I have to kind of like go from above and then drop down. I think. This could be an issue. It's gonna like force me to have to try to figure out to pop it in, I think. Looking, testing, checking. Yeah, there we go. All right, forearms, because that's how this works. Is one of them 32? No. So I'm pretty sure this is probably not in use. Probably one of the coolest Slanesh armies I've ever seen was one of the 40k tabletop ones, I think for bulk demons at the time, because Emperor's Children wasn't out yet. The person that made it, the army normally is in like NSFW mode. Like it's pure Slanesh. Just straight up painted nudity everywhere. But if he goes to a tournament, and that tournament's like, you know, a little bit more public, or he notices that there's like a kid playing or something, every single one of his models is magnetized in a way where there are components that he can apply over top of it that look like censorship bars. It's a pretty solid approach. Yeah, it was like tiny black bars that were magnetized. It was great. Some sprue goo in this gap here. This arm is topside. There's no snap component here, so I do have to just be very exacting about its placement. Something in my head is trying to, like, with this group that plays, I kind of want to see if they are local, because I kind of want to start inundating that store where the owners are like, they act like they're annoyed if you ask to play games in there other than like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or D&D. Even though they have all these other games for sale, and it would probably be good for them to, you know, start local communities to play and purchase all that stuff. I kind of want to figure out if they live more local to me than down there. And figure out a day that we can all just like meet up as a big group up here and start like just being like, hey, there's 6 of us, we want to go in the back, play a game. Just overwhelm them. So do we think we're at that point where there is, and I guess you guys, yeah, you guys are on Twitch mostly. There's probably people on YouTube though. I imagine there's some people over there. But we think we're at this point because Alien Ant Farm's Smooth Criminal has come on, that there's probably a sect of people who only know this song from Alien Ant Farm. Do we think we're there yet? All right, I'm starting to think I'm taking back what I was saying about this person being a genius, because I'm about to glue 2 fingertips on top of 2 knuckles. Now they should be fired. acetone here. Oh, triple knuckle. I will say the fact that there's no like lock-in spot for these arms is actually devastatingly bad. The idea that you have to kind of like put it on and be like, I hope that's right. I hope that looks good. But it kind of lines up, I guess. All right, staff time. 16, 17. And then I need... Okay, I need a loincloth that does not have a number on it. I'm assuming it's the short one over the long one. That's what it looks like. So what are we hoping for the rules with the stealth suits and everything? Do we think it's going to try to bear the same rule that the old versions had? Where conceal basically just like let you go wherever the hell you wanted? Do we think they're going to have a variant of fly? Maybe a command point ability to go back into conceal. Considering squad size, it's going to be probably a 3 APL Tau team. Which is nifty. No. this not setting in? What do you think the Space Wolves ability is going to be? Like, this is about stealth. They're kind of Phobos. I think someone noticed that there was like a beam symbol. Like on the icons they showed, there's like a weird beam symbol. I think the dog is going to have a charge. And I think the beam symbol is there to sort of like put on him to be like, oh, he's going to go this way. He's going to charge through all these people. Oh, nice. Now, when you say you finished your Corsairs, do you just have the like basic? Like, do you have a... Which one? There it is. Do you have regular units? Because I do think, honestly, trying to get your hands on, like, 1 or 2 warriors is good. Also, what about your heavy weapons? Your heavy and your medium. Because if I remember correctly, the box doesn't really give you a lot in terms of the ability to do all that. I think with my buddy... He had a very specific team build he was going for, which meant I think there was like 1 or 2 models he didn't need. So I was able to get some selection, but then I eventually had to purchase Dark Reapers, which I converted. Because I did want the heavy weapons guys, so I have like Dark Reapers for that and stuff. Oh, nice. Because the person I fought against, I don't know if he only had like the one team, he didn't have the swappables, but in my opinion the thing that kept him from winning was the fact that he didn't have more warriors and he didn't have like a blaster. Or even a shredder, to be honest. Against me a shredder would have been just fine. Because he was using the Wraith Cannon, and he put his guy up on a single floor vantage point, and then I just put smoke on top of him. So it's like it didn't matter. He couldn't retain crits. Like, it was pretty over. But if he had another person with a power weapon on the front line, I would have had a problem. kind of realizing the issue here. I need to make sure it's kind of angled. That way it doesn't interfere with the peacock tail thingy. So it's got to be like closer to this. The lack of locking components make me do dumb stuff. Come on. Just sit proper there, please. Make sure it doesn't look too bad from the front. Hit it with a little sprue goo. I mean, if you're not really worried, I guess when you're playing about like trying to match your list to your opponent, one box is fine. But there are things you're going to have to overcome in certain missions and maps. Now that's the real question. Are you the I'll do the bases later and then never do the bases kind of guy? Because I know a ton of those. Like, I know people who go ham on painting armies and doing, like, crazy cool stuff. And then their bases are just, like, flat black with, like, a little bit of color from them trying to paint the model. Basing is so easy, though. You don't even have to try, really. At least with the Kill Team stuff they've been releasing, normally they try to show people that, like, you don't really have to care about the base. Like, you can always, like, paint it white or gray and then hit it with, like, Garrigak Sewer as a contrast. And it looks good, because bases are normally textured a little bit. They're almost pre-designed to feel a little bit like asphalt or something. Or just stone. Oh, that was close. I gotta be very careful with this. This was almost gone forever. I got it. Probably one of my favorite simple bases I've ever built was it used a little bit of a texture paste that made it look kind of like rubble piles, like little bits of stone. I didn't put it all over. I only put it in like small patches. And then I would glue a piece of what is it? Zip tie down to the base. And I would kind of cut it so that the texture from the zip tie was facing up. And then I would cut it at the outside of the base to try to go flush. And then I hit it with white and then hit it with Garagax. So it just looked like some kind of rusted out, like, Ministrarum floor. Took me 2 minutes to put together. What up, Peacock? We didn't crash again. If we crash now, I'm going to blame you forever. Forever! So you were the one taking the Raveners to the narrative event? Right? I feel like once we're done this, I can kind of pull up the rules. We can go over stuff. I'm trying so hard to get this to center properly. Oh, this is the worst. Please hold, please hold, please hold, please hold, please hold. Yeah, I feel like we're almost there. I might do the pasting of the base on my own. Because we can kind of pre-do the base with this. I can build a second layer on top of it, apply this to that layer, and we're good. That's going to involve a lot of Mod Podge, which is basically like watching Elmer's glue dry, so I don't think anyone's going to be interested in that. Hell yeah. So the texture paste I use isn't the like branded or made for miniature texture paste, because I found that texture paste that's designed for like canvas surfaces so much cheaper and achieves a lot of the same effect. Like, let me show you. That is crackle texture and medium pumice stone texture. It dries white, so then I just hit it with a sort of sand colored contrast and called it a day. And this stuff comes in like a tub for super cheap. It's so good. All right, arms achieved. I think we're at the point of the head. Head and belt. Anything extra? No. Okay, head and belt. 24, 23. Technically, you can also mix whatever color you want into those texture paints because they're designed to accept things like golden pigment and stuff. Like, you can just take high flow golden and just put it in with the texture paste, stir it up, and then apply it to the surface. Super fun. 23. 24. There it is. As long as you got it. Did you get like the white texture paste so you could paint it? It's kind of the big trick. Sorry about that. Had to mute my mic. Double checking something. This is runoff. Oh my god. This is another one of those situations where I really wish they had been like, yo, you're gonna need to focus up. Because when you go to glue this on, there's components that need to attach to parts of their arm. So obviously, I glued the staff on kinda wrong? No, it's fine. Okay. Okay. Pure luck, baby. absolutely the purest luck. That is some psycho shit right there. There was a divot for this to go into, and that worked. And then this attaches to this little thing here. That worked. Ooh. However... There we go. Had to move the middle section down a little bit because it looked a little awkward. This component really needs to stick and hold. At least he's not a man of many women, but only one cup, Broshi. There we go. Alright, last component. For what will be the most eye-catching and coolest demon prince of my three. So, Peacock, do you know the format of your narrative event? I'm guessing, is it like everything's kind of normal competitively, but like the maps and stuff are going to be a little more story driven? Like, are you going to be picking tac ops, or is there like other goals going on? That's all very pertinent information. This is the cool head. I like this head. So that's just of all the cool friggin' horned heads and craziness. Pick a team that requires a lot of work and then experience the enslavement of a project. Like, I got one for you. Agents of the Imperium. The Inquisitor Squad. But get all of the side things that it wants. So, like, the Kasserkin. The Sisters of Silence. With a bunch of options. Who else? Who else do they have access to? They're the ones that have the Tempestus Scions. They've also got access to a couple of the regular Imperial teams. And what's cool with them... Oh, you already have the full tier of that? You have every single thing for that? You sure? Are you sure? But yeah, if Peacock's still here, we could try to go over a little bit of the Ravager rules. I'm not gonna lie, the one store I go into makes me kind of want to do this. Oh, there he is. One of the people where I play has an entire basement filled with this stuff. He does it as an investment, though, because if you consider that the models from Games Workshop go up like 5% or something a year, then technically anything you purchase from them, so long as they don't get rid of the model line, constantly appreciates in value. So, like, he'll buy box sets of, like, frickin' Screamers of Tzeentch, like, a decade ago, right? They're still there. They're still Screamers. They're still useful. And they don't really sell them in the US. So if he were to sell his to me, which he's trying to do, he would sell them usually for like $1 off whatever wall price is. I can guarantee you when he purchased them, they were like maybe a quarter off of what they are right now. But yeah, let me show you what I keep thinking of purchasing. Because I think it could be cool. But I'll probably never do it. Uh-oh. Oh, there they are. All right, we're going studio mode. Hopefully nothing crashes. I've been debating buying this because this is pretty much all of the RBDs you'll ever need for a kill team. And then this is basically, I think, what is this, half or full? I think this is half. And then you would want to buy another box of like the actual agents as a kill team to get the rest of it. And then you have an assassin that you can kind of just declare is the assassin. But yeah, this would give you the ability to run pretty much everything, including the fact that I really want to run, I want to say it's 4 shield bearers and a shield bearer leader. So you can take like the regular leader with the gun and everything, and then you would take a second leader, wherever the hell he is here, as the shield bearer leader. So you could have like a ton of really good options out of one box. This is probably $2 cheaper than doing this manually. I'm pretty sure it's only like $2 cheaper. Like 65. That's thanks. 60 for that. You're able to run this, which I don't think they have. There's like a model that you could probably run it as, but you don't really need to. And then 65, 65. So 130 here. Right? Yeah. 130 there plus... So 190 versus 168. So it's decent. It's a decent shift. It gives you an entire RBD squad. It gives you the ability to at least declare you want to do agents and then bring the RBDs in as a sidekick thing, if that's how you want to do it. But I feel like, man, every time I think of going inquisitorial agents, I'm always like, I want all of them, which means you need 2 of these boxes. The fact that my friend went in with me on the Ashes of Faith box, we came out of that so good. The value in that box was insane. It was like $120 for Chaos Cultists, the Mutant box, and then the Cult Leadership box, and then 2 of these, a box of, I think, Scions, and a box of, I want to say, Sisters of Silence. It was the greatest deal that ever came out of Games Workshop, in my opinion. Because I feel like right now, that box was just to these guys. Like, would have been perfectly fine. Either way. What was I thinking? Peacock's here. So, Warhammer Community. So Peacock, what is this event going to be? Are you going to be doing TAC Ops? Is it the newer TAC Ops? All right, so you get 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 1 of each. Oh, you get 4 actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ravener Prime. What is the value of taking a war? You also have Seek and Destroy and Infiltration. Oh, genuinely unsure? Okay. So things to look at first. Not gonna... Thinking, how do I approach this? General stuff, I guess. Faction role, burrow. Setting up Ravener kill team. Your first 2 operatives must be set up as normal. Each other Ravener operative, therefore, can be set up underground. So this is a selection, which I imagine based on terrain you might want or not want. Because, again, you have to score things, so you need people on the surface. Although you could technically bring them up, to my understanding. Because burrow is usable once per turn per model that activates. You do activate the models that are underground. I think they're considered dead if they're still underground at the end of the last turn. Yeah. So you do need to consider that. It shouldn't be hard to consider it, because then you just bring them up. It does look cool. I wish it was like a different team. Most people were thinking it was going to be the Shrikes or something, which would have been awesome. But Raveners is cool. At the end of the setup operative step, place your tunnel marked number 0, because you actually need to track this. Wholly within your drop zone and touching your kill zone edge. Wholly within your drop zone and touching your kill zone edge. Let me grab my cards. Okay. Place your tunnel mark number 0 on the kill zone floor. This sucks for Beta Decima. Like, if your narrative event involves Beta Decima, I'm sorry. Wholly within your drop zone. So that's all the way on your side, wholly within, and touching your kill zone edge. Which... yeah, that's clearly marked as what appears to be the farthest to the outside section, I think. Where's my intel cards? Yep, kill zone edge. So if it's a long edge, it is the farthest out long edge part. I imagine they want you to put these near the middle. That way you can kind of spread them onto the field however you want. Either that or you have one side of your field with tunnels, so you can kind of interact over there with the tunnels. And then the rest of the Raveners or whoever you have left is going to be just like, they have to be on the surface on the other side. Because I wonder how that plays out. Let's see. So this happens when you're done. And then as a strategic gambit, so you'll do it in your first turning point, you can place your next one wholly within 5. Wholly is key. So the far end of your other token has to be within the 5 inches. That's not a lot of space. I think... okay, let me take a look. Most deployment zones are only 3 inches from the table edge, so that's not bad. That's okay. That's like just outside of your deployment zone. This means that as the battle progresses, you have tokens all the way to 4. This is big brain, man. You're going to need to know why you want to tunnel this way. You do this every turn in sequence. I'm looking at a grid map right now. So 3 inches up, and then 5. And then from there, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not even in your opponent's deployment, or your opponent's like controlled side of the kill zone with this tunnel in turn 2. You should be at your first objective with it, if that's how you want to go. But that's still turn 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is on long edge, by the way, not short edge. Short edge is going to be heinous, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Turn 4, you could technically put a burrow in your opponent's deployment zone on long edge deployment. Short edge deployment, that's a bit... Ooh, that's actually bad. Because it has to be on your edge. Dude, on long edge deployment, this shouldn't even let you put a tunnel out. 0 has to be on the floor, wholly within your drop zone, and touching your kill zone edge. Yeah, you can't even get the tunnel 1 out of your deployment zone in a straight line, because your deployment zone on long edge or short edge is usually 6 inches. So you're really not relying. 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Barely gets you within range of the first objective, usually. Yeah. Long edge deployment better, short edge deployment garbage. This distance can be measured through wall terrain. This is big, so any into the dark. They do say in Killzone Galadark, the assumption is in the next QA they're going to just add Tomb World. So if your narrative event is Tomb World, don't assume. Double check with the TO that they're like, yes. Just so that there's no like pedantic asshole there who's like, no, it just says Galadark, you can't do it here. But this is how you get through walls in like fun ways. I remember this, but I don't like this. Like, this doesn't feel interesting to me. Because the issue is they show you like this, and it's like, oh, isn't this cool? This is a lot shorter distance than you think it is. I think the assumption is you have one... you're going to have one guy underground until turn 3. And then when this third thing pops up, that's about where he's going to end up. Maybe 2 people. We'll see with the people. It can perform 2 fights. Operative can counteract regardless. So your Xenos Astartes. You can change its order, which is slightly better than Astartes, so that's good. Ah, cool. You can vanish. You can just be like, and a burrow. Which, this is actually kind of important here. Because like I said, you can only do this once per activation, normally. Or cannot perform this action while carrying a marker, or if it isn't either underground or on your tunnel. Yeah. So you can only do it once per activation, and then because your team is so low in number, you need to basically, in your head, figure out how many activations your opponent has, to then counteract people into the tunnel if they need to. Friendly operatives set up underground are activated and can counter... Oh, this is huge, actually. Can counteract as normal. Okay. So in theory, you could burrow. And again, this is only really going to help you later in like turn 3-ish. If you're on a tunnel in your activation and you like shoot, then burrow or whatever, or do like some stuff and then burrow at the end, if you have enough that unit who is off field in the tunnel can counteract, you could burrow up further out. What's up, Shadow? This is Kill Team. We're going over rules because Peacock in chat is going to a narrative event with a team, and we're going to see like fun interactions that they can actually do to try to like maximize his potential for, you know, winning some matches. We did glue together this thing, which was my winnings from my last tournament. So now it's just drying. I'm letting it sit. So that's kind of fun. But we're going to go over rules for Raveners, because I haven't really talked about Raveners on the channel. I haven't really done a lot of my like team overview videos yet on the channel in at least a little while. I'd like to do a new one soon. These guys are hyper elaborate too, which is crazy. So I think honestly the main reason for burrowing is counteracting, to try to prevent people from being able to get you. But this thing is important. You can't counteract after having performed a mission action. So that kind of sucks. Whenever friendly operator is fighting, if I perform the burrow action during that activation counteraction, its melee weapons have the balanced weapon rule. If it's on your tunnel, its melee weapons have the ceaseless weapon rule. I feel like people just avoid your tunnels and you'll get balanced. This kind of sucks. I'm trying to think of the timing on this, because again, you're not going to have any tunnels in anywhere cool until turn 3. Because let me see if I can pull this up for you. Kill team Vulcus map suggestions. Yeah, this actually very much highlights my issue. So like it said, let's say you start on the red side. You have your 0 somewhere here. I'm assuming the token's probably like decently sized. Right? Maybe... What size are the tokens? Are the burrowing tokens the same size as objective tokens? Because what is that? That's like 1.5 inches across? Or like 1.25 inches? What size are the tokens? Because now we're in the realm of min-maxing. They're the same size as the objective tokens, right? They shouldn't be, like, super tiny. Ravener tokens. They're 3/4 of an inch? That's kind of no bueno. Because that means you would put one here. It would go to about there. And then the first one you could place is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, your next one literally goes to your edge. Just a little before. This is you turn 1. And then maybe turn 2. Let's assume here, maybe. From here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'd have one here, which could threaten mid. Your opponent would have to like dump a bunch of stuff mid to hope, and then you could just pop out of a hole here and be like, haha, and then charge. The problem is that I think what? These guys are 3? Yeah, 3 APL. So burrow, charge, fight. You don't really get access to double fight, which feels kind of bad. And it genuinely makes this feel like crap. Because I don't know how your opponent would place to make it so that you pop out of your tunnel. You're on your tunnel to get relentless. It's just garbage. It feels weird. Let's see what else we got. Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Ravener operative, if that friendly operative has performed the burrow action during that turning point, you can reroll. Operative. Select one friendly Ravener operative. That friendly operative can immediately perform a free burrow action. If it is within 2 inches of your tunnel, it can immediately perform a free fallback or reposition before it does so. So this is key. This is like your turn 2 ability. No, this is a turn 3. This is a turn 3. You have one guy on the front line who survived, is outside of your tunnel range by only 2 inches. And then you're going to free fall back or reposition, which doesn't seem to limit your movement outside of it needing to be the 2 inches here, which would then let you escape and burrow. That's not bad. This is a big one. This is probably a key action. Whenever a friendly Ravener operative is on your tunnel, it's in cover unless it's within 2 inches of that active operative. Treat this as cover provided by light terrain. This could be pretty good. Maybe. The issue is the distance for the tunnel. Like, I love this visually where you're like, oh, that's cool. This is cool that this is how the tunnel works. But if you look at this and think of it, this tunnel, tunnel 3, according to this, if my brain is serving me correctly, would be like here. It would be on this line. Who cares about a tunnel on your back line? Because if we're talking about an angle here, which means 5 becomes a little less in terms of like forward momentum. Like in a straight line, you get to about here. But if you're going to angle it, you're about here. And then this second one that's that way for some reason is like here. And then this one would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like here. Turn 3, you have a tunnel here. Who cares? Why does tunnel feel bad? Wholly within 5 inches of your preceding tunnel. Why does this feel so bad? The tunnels should be like 7 or 8. Or go up, right? Like, okay, 5, add an inch every single turn after the first. So 6, 7, 8. And I feel like that could be really good. Because outside of that, how do you even use this? Like, in my mind, I would have, like, a good defensive pocket here, maybe. And then have the tunnel kind of here. And then, so in total, 4 turns, 5, 10, 15, 20. You've got 20 inches by turn 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Maybe that's the play. Is to have like a good thing here and then just keep tunneling this way. Maybe with 1 or 2 units you have in the tunnel at the start, you pop out in mid. Because burrow isn't a reposition, is it? Placed, set up until the end of the act. Subtract 2 from its move stat. What are the move stats? 7. It's not the worst. You get it back if you charge. So you get your 7-inch charge. But I feel like turn 3, yeah, you pop one guy out here, run him in. Turn 4, whoever's back here covering this section goes into the tunnel and then reappears here at like turn 3 vanish, turn 4 here. Okay, Shadow. Well, turn 3. Okay, so in the side mode, right? I wonder if I can find one for that. The style of map I saw where I was like, that might work is, where is it? I imagine Waha has them. Waha. So this is good for Raveners, because you'll start here, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your first point's here. That's not bad. This style map is really good for Ravener, because then the next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you could get here. Easy. Turn 2. If you want to go for the turn 3 play, you'd go this way. You could probably start here, get to here, and then, you know, start going this way. Map 1 Vulcus. Let me see. I have the new maps. I don't know if they changed them. Map 1 Vulcus is currently short edge deployment, which shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't. Like, that's pretty much this. Which, again, like we were bringing up, your token 0 has to be here. Your turn 1 gambit is within 5 inches. Not 5 inches, or... wait, is it wholly, or was it just within? Am I misreading it? Is my brain determining otherwise? Nope, wholly within. Which means the first token has to go on your edge, which is this part back here. It has to touch it, and then it has to just be here somewhere along this line. Then the next one doesn't even make it outside of your deployment zone in turn 1. Turn 2, it'll only be as far as your first objective. None of the others. Turn 3, it should be about at the halfway marker of the field, which, sure, if you want to go for the turn 3 play to conquer this. Turn 4 would be here, and then your guys have 7-inch movement, and if you pop out of the tunnel, you lose 2, so you're at 5. So a 7-inch charge, a 5-inch move. Not the worst if the person you're playing against leaves like one guy on their objective and you just pop a tunnel here and you're like, haha, and you just go for it. But I don't know, it still feels bad. It'll feel okay, I think, on Gallo Dark with the whole through wall concept. That's pretty good. But wording wise, it works mostly for this style, where turn 1 you're already outside of your deployment zone. Turn 2, you'll be on the midline. So if he's using tunnels to hold mid turn 2, I don't know how he did that to you if you were gray side. Because turn 1 is here, turn 2 is here. I guess a tunnel being about here is enough. I mean, yeah, except 5-inch move when you pop out. I guess it's enough to be kind of scary. To just be like, oh, a guy could appear here and then move or charge a 7. So, like, maybe. It is the best way. Because, like, it's the best way for you to not get shot, basically. Is to just have a tunnel here and to have, like, a guy in reserve. And then start arcing it like this way so that you can have kind of a clear path to here. What were the limits? Can you not have an item on you when you burrow? Yeah. Can't do it while carrying a marker. Which, there's a bunch of new missions that require you to carry markers. This also definitely means that most of the TAC ops that have marker carrying might be out of the case, unless you're just cool leaving the character in anyway. The reroll ones don't feel that great, because if your opponent's just not near them, then I guess all you're aiming for is, like, balanced. Some dice rerolls if you're standing on stuff. This is the big one, in my opinion, for spacing. That's pretty big. Ooh, IRL bat report. Why are people posting in my stuff? Oh, there's your Corsairs. Nice. Ah, Jade Corsairs. Slithering Evasion. Firefight ploy during Friendly Ravener activation or counteraction. This is key. Before or after it performs an action, during that activation, counteraction, that operative can perform the fallback action or perform the charge action while within control range of an enemy operative. This is a bit big brain, a bit situational. It's not bad, though. To be able to counteract a fallback or something. Use the firefight ploy when an enemy operative is performing the fight action and selects a friendly operative on your tunnel to fight against in the resolve attack dice step of that sequence. You resolve the first attack dice step. So you do really need to use your tunnels as, like, the defensive option for you. It does make you kind of durable if you run a lot of the strategic ploys and then just keep your people on the tunnel to get your dice rerolls and everything. It's not the worst. You just have to kind of have a pre-made plan going into it to know where your people have to stand to maintain the tunnel buff. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Ravener operative performs the burrow action before the operative is removed from the tunnel or after setting up in your tunnel. Inflict D3+1 damage on each enemy operative within its control range. So you could tunnel from melee. That's not bad. You cannot use this ploy in the strat phase or during a Fell Talon operative's activation or counter action if it performs Toxic Lunge action. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Ravener operative is incapacitated before that operative is removed from the battlefield. Inflict D3. Oh, this is the explosion function. Unless you're a Venom Spitter. Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Ravener operative... Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Ravener operative, it can retain any cover saves You can retain one additional cover save. This isn't cumulative with improved cover saves from Vantage. Okay. It's nice. Double cover. It's pretty good. This plus treating your tunnel as light cover could be pretty good. Definitely ask your opponent how much saturate they have on the field. Could be good. Whenever a friendly Ravener operative is fighting or retaliating, whenever an attack dice inflicts damage on it, roll 1d6. On a 5, inflict 1 damage on the enemy operative in that sequence. Low health melee heavy teams. Could be good. Whenever a friendly Ravener operative is activated or gains up to D3 lost wounds. That's horrifying. I feel like this is a must-take almost everywhere. Holy crap. Just remember, though, that poison effects go off before this. It's always damage before healing. But this is basically the straight-up, like, sort of counter to poison. Especially if you're not low health. If it's just like, oh, I did 1 wound of poison to you. Oh, I healed 2 back. Like, this is it. Right here. Heightened senses. Once per battle, after rolling off to decide initiative, if friendly Raptor operative is underground and the enemy operative is within 5 inches of your tunnel, you can re-roll your dice. Little too swingy. Probably wouldn't go this way. Something I would say, you probably, if you're gonna like hyper focus on your tunnel, I feel like this, yes. This maybe. This probably, actually. And then if you go, like, actual terrain, like you go, like, a heavy barricade or something, you're gonna want to pre-measure. You're gonna want to see where your tunnel is. And then if you're like, for my second tunnel, I want a barricade, you're gonna want to pre-measure so that the barricade's, like, here. And then you know for a fact when you beeline it this way, the tunnel will end at the barricade. It's like a key thing. Other than that, they aren't, at least down here in the nitty gritty, they aren't something I'm like super like wow about right now. I mean, statistically speaking, 21 wounds. It's a 3 APL version of a Gellerpox Hulk. That can actually move. It's pretty good. So if you consider 5+ saves, there's also the fun idea that, and I did this with my Mandrakes. Think about the deployable shield, which sounds stupid when you consider Xenos. But if you're going to have a person, like if we see a person in here that's decent at shooting and you kind of want them to threaten areas, putting them behind that shield gives them a 5-inch move when they use it, which is nice. It's a little bit better than the 4 that everyone else gets. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you place it in a way where it intersects almost all shooting coming at you, you're a 4+ save on this. Like, that's a 4+ save on something with 20 wounds that you can have an item active that gives you 2 guaranteed saves. Is pretty good, in my opinion. So yeah, the Venom Spitter is, like, ranged. Yeah, like 3. Silent, though, which is nice. You pretty much don't have to take things out of conceal. This is probably, honestly, your actual strength right here. The ability to kind of be an asshole from ranged in weird positions so that you don't have to come out of stealth. This is a bolt gun. This is straight up a bolt gun. But rending makes it better. Into light things, like into blooded, into Imperial Guard stuff, probably into the servitors that are on that new squad. Like anything that's light, I would actually consider this over actually running into melee. Because if you can get vision on it from around a corner that you can't get shot back from, being able to do this and then even being able to counteract this if you don't finish the job, that's kind of big. But the 3-inch range is a problem, definitely. Whenever determining control of a marker, treat total APL of enemy operatives that contest it as 1 lower if at least one of those operatives is within 3 of this operative. To be clear for the wording of this, you have to... The -1 is applied at the end. So if you have like 3 enemy operatives that are APL 2, it's 2, 4, 6 is the total on the objective, and so long as one of them is within 3 of this, it's 6 minus 1, so it'll be 5. Which is pretty good. It's pretty good, because then you just need 2 of these guys sitting on it, and it's fine. This one guy could tie 2 APL 2 units, though, so that's something to think about if you just want to stop people from being able to do something right away. Opponents must spend 1 additional APL or AP for the enemy operative to perform pickup. That's pretty good. Your opponent cannot reroll their attacker. This is huge. There are so many teams that exist right now where you're, for 1 command point, you basically get rerolls all day. Mandrakes, when we are within Shadow, for 1 command point, we can reroll 1 dice from any of our attacks. That's like ranged, melee, we don't care. We get to reroll 1 for 1 command point. This is just a unit that goes no. And that's within 3. You don't even have to be in combat. You can just be within 3 of the target. If this operative isn't incapacitated, roll 1d6. Strategic Gambit. Use this to fish. So you have 2 fishing things. You have tunnel, and your tunnel will try to fish to see what your opponent wants to do, and then you have this for the next one. For gaining command point, nothing, or inflict... Oh, no. I didn't know you guys were chaos. That's garbage. I don't know if I would do this turn 3 or 4. Turn 1 and 2, sure. Turn 3 and 4? Ugh. Maybe if it's like really one-sided, I'll balls in and do it. Thel Talon. This one's nice. Even though the Venom Spitter's the ranged for the team, the fact that this has a 6-inch silent with poison. If you inflict damage with any critic... Oh, you have to be critical here. The operative this weapon is used against gains 1 of your poisons, D3 damage. So yeah, these are obnoxious. This guy will be obnoxious. This guy's kind of like your middle tier range. This guy could easily threaten things like mid. No problem without revealing himself, because silent 6-inch poison is not bad. Especially when it's the same stat line. Like, these are the fun things. Why is this here when this is here? Do you want a bolt gun without poison, or do you want a bolt gun with poison that's twice the range? Good job, game. Maybe if you're going implant or something. Select 1 enemy operative within 2 inches of this operative. Alternatively, if this operative is underground, select 1 enemy operative on your tunnel. Inflict D3 plus 2 damage on that enemy operative, and it gains 1 of your poison tokens. This is sick. This is actually sick. This is the guy you want in tunnel turn 4. Then you toxic lunge and then just bring it up somewhere else, I think. Oh, no. Operative can perform this action while underground. Takes precedence over the normal burrow rules? What? This operative can perform this action while underground. Oh, burrow rules don't let you do things without being on the or only let you burrow. So yeah, like turn 4, you want this guy to preemptively be underground. Move the tunnel across a couple enemy units. Pick one to do this to, and then just bring him up and screw some people up. All right, Sand. Or Sun DKU. Tremor Scythe. Yeah, this is just the melee ball. This is what you want to send in. Get some damage going. Get some brawl going. Charge action while it has conceal, or if it performed the burrow action during the same activation or counter action. How does counter action work for that? Like, why do they keep saying, like, you can perform the charge action while you have done a or like while you've burrowed either here? Like, what? Can you burrow as a counteract and charge? I don't think that was possible. Like, all in one counteract? Do you get 3 APL when you counteract? What's happening here? Can counteract regardless. You can change its order. Change during a counter. If it doesn't perform a mission action, it can perform a... Oh, yeah, you can! So you can do a free burrow as a counteract. So you could burrow shoot. Okay. Okay. Burrow shoot, burrow charge. Although you got to remember your charge is limited to, I think, like 3 inches. After you come up from, or when you do it from counteract. Once per turning point after an enemy operative performs an action in which it moves more than 2 inches and ends within 2 inches of your tunnel. If this operative is underground and is either ready or hasn't counteracted during this turning point, you can interrupt that enemy operative's activation. So this guy you want in the tunnel for the most part. All the way through to turn 3, I think. Being able to interrupt an activation, just having this thing kind of go to like the middle point, and then having someone run from the enemy team to the middle point, and you being like, stop, hammer time, and then just tremor sithing them to death. Although, because you could technically do this with counteract, you could like run in, rough someone up, go into your tunnel, and then counteract as an interruption. That's not bad. You must fight against or shoot against that enemy operative and cannot do so against any other enemy operatives. Wait a second. If this operative is underground, interrupt. Okay. So if you're going to do it as a counteract, you have to surface and shoot. I don't think you can fight. You can charge, but then you should be out. Free charge. Oh, no, you get your free charge, though. Man, this guy's a stack of fun. So, yeah, you can burrow short range charge because the enemy's within 2 inches. No problem. And then fight. That's pretty cool. This guy's pretty nice. Venom Spitter, your actual ranged. Maximum 8 inches. With a blast, though. That's not bad. No silent. Kind of an issue. You do get poison, though. So this is the second person you have with poison. Until this operative is shot with its Venom Bolt. Until it performs this action again. Or until it performs the burrow action. All profiles have lethal 5. And 1 added to their attack stat. And the range 8. Weapon rule is removed. Ooh, I like it. So this guy could kind of like sit up on top of something if you want an actual vantage point unit. And just have a full field lethal 5 attack weapon. Blast 2 or piercing 1. That's 2 action points in total. Not the worst. He is your range DPS, but honestly, Key thing with him would be if you could catch people off guard. Like trying to do maybe like a 10-inch maneuver between a move and a dash, and then blasting a bunch of people who are kind of standing together on something. Ravener Warrior, this is where I'm interested. Whenever this operative is shooting against, fighting against, retaliating against a wounded enemy operative, not injured, they just need to be down 1 health, or an enemy operative that performed the fallback action during the turning point, which honestly you probably shouldn't care about, lethal 5. Warriors aren't strong enough for me to warrant telling you to take a warrior over a specialist. Unless the wrecker sucks. Scything Talons, Crushing Claws. This guy is piercing 1 silent instead of the rending. That's pretty crazy. Normal critical damage of 4 or more inflicts 1 less. So he has passive feel no pain that you don't have to roll for. But it's only damage of 4, so it's not that great. Whenever you strike, you or your opponent roll off, adding 1 to the result. If the operative this weapon is being used against has a wound stat of 9 or less. If you win, inflict additional damage on the operative equal to the difference between the dice rolls to a maximum of 3. That's crazy. If you consider like hitting an elf with this, if you hit them with the 4, 5, 6, 7, it's still 1 less. You would need to hit them with the crit. And then this slows down the game a lot. Every time you go, all right, let's strike, and then you both roll a dice. I don't know. This team doesn't feel incredible. I was worried about fighting them at the tournament, but then I fought Gellerpox. And Gellerpox is like the slower version of them, but with hordes. So I can't focus on the things I need to kill in Gellerpox. My entire purpose at fighting the Gellerpox player that I went against was attacking his fodder units and his mission units. I was able to get almost all of them done, and then I think I killed 1 or 2 of his Hulks by the end. I think he ran in on one of my guys, failed his attacks, and then my guy shredded him with a power weapon. So that was crazy. It was his, oh yeah, it was the cleave. It was the Screamer. He tried to do the 1-hit cleave on my dude, and then failed it, and then I rolled like 3 crits and a hit on a power weapon, and just like absolutely annihilated. Oh, nice. That's the other thing. So you have access to 2 weird kind of layout abilities. Where'd they go? Why are they not with the card? So you have Infiltrate and Seek and Destroy. I have the new cards here. So Seek and Destroy, sweep. First time an enemy operative is incapacitated while contesting an objective marker, or the first time a friendly operative performs the clear action. When an enemy operative that contests an objective marker is incapacitated, that objective marker gains 1 of your swept tokens. If it doesn't already have one until the ready step of the next strategy phase. An objective marker the active operative controls is cleared for the turning point. An operative cannot perform this action during the first turning point or while within control range of an enemy operative. At the end of each turning point after the first, if friendly operatives control any objective markers that have 1 of your swept tokens, you score 1. If this is true and any of those objective markers are also cleared, you score 2. So you can turn 1. You basically, as long as you have a guy standing on an objective, marker that the active operative controls is cleared. Yeah, you can get 3, as long as you have a guy on an objective, you can get 3 points on this easy. The question is whether or not you could time killing something and then clearing. And then you have to hold that objective, it looks like. If friendly operatives control an objective marker that has 1 of your swept tokens and you cleared it. Yeah, so you have to be able to do that, then hold. Don't think that's a good idea. First time an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative is the reveal. Each time a friendly operative incapacitates an enemy operative, that friendly operative gains 1 of your dominate tokens. At the end of the 3rd and 4th turning point, you can remove dominate tokens from the friendly operatives that aren't incapacitated. This could be doable by you into like low damage teams because you're going to survive. 20 wounds, that's going to be very difficult to get through, especially if you do the double save thing. It's going to be very hard to get through. I feel like, yeah, so you have to have 3 by turn 3 and then 3 by turn 4. I feel like Dominate should be on your board of this is possible, especially into horde armies or anything that has like 8 wounds or less that can't shred 20 health off of you. Whenever a friendly operative incapacitates an enemy operative, if that friendly operative is within 6 inches of your opponent's drop zone, you score 1 VP. If this is true and the enemy operative had a wound status of 12 or more, you get 2. Map is very important. You can only get 2 per turning point. I don't think you could do this turn 2. I think you'd be hard pressed to get within 6 of your opponent's drop zone to kill someone. And then to do it again. I don't know. The tunnel not being like as fast as I was hoping it would be kind of ruins this. Probably stay away from route. Over to the infiltration side of things. What time is it? 9? We'll probably wrap it up after this. I'm going to take some pictures of what we built today. First time you score VP on this, you reveal an enemy operative is being tracked if it's a valid target for a friendly operative within 6 inches of it. That friendly operative must have a conceal order, cannot be a valid target for the enemy operative it's attempting to track, and cannot be within control range of enemy operatives. At the end of each turning point after the first, if one enemy operative is being tracked, you score 1 VP, or 2 VP instead if it's the 4th turning point. If 2 or more enemy operatives are being tracked, you score 2. So they do kind of cushion it. You do need to keep 1 person alive by the end of the game. I feel like with the fallback tricks and stuff you have, and all the silent weaponry, and the units who are able to charge while concealed, track enemy might be a good-ish one. The 6-inch range, though, and needing to make sure... Okay, so you can't be a valid target for the track target. So if you see someone and they can't see you, that's the target. But if someone else sees you, that doesn't matter. Okay. First time friendly operative performs plant device. 1 objective marker the active operative controls gains 1 of your device tokens. An operative cannot perform this action during the first turning point and within control range of an enemy operative at the end of each turning point after the first. If your opponent... Wait, hang on. Okay. If your opponent's objective marker has 1 of your device tokens, you score VP. For each objective marker enemy operatives contest that has 1 of your device tokens, you score 1 VP. The first time a friendly operative performs plant. If your opponent's objective marker has 1 of your... I'm guessing that's the one on your opponent's side. So if you could rush your opponent at the top and just throw an objective marker down. I don't think that's a good idea, though. I mean, maybe you send the guy who can pressure people off. You are a 3 APL team, so taking an AP-based mission isn't the worst, but track enemies still top tier in my opinion. Especially with all the conceal shenanigans you have access to. The first time an enemy operative is incapacitated, whenever an enemy operative is incapacitated before it's removed, place 1 of your intelligence mission markers within its control range. Friendly operatives can perform the pickup marker action on your intelligence mission markers for the purpose of the action's conditions. Ignore the first intelligence mission marker the active operative is carrying. In other words, each friendly operative can carry up to 2. At the end of each turning point after the first, if any friendly operatives are carrying any of the intelligence mission markers, you score 1 VP. At the end of the wait, hang on. At the end of each turning point after the first, if any friendly operatives are carrying any intelligence mission markers, you score 1. At the end of the battle, if each of your intelligence mission markers friendly operatives are carrying... Oh, 4 each. This is a weird one, because technically you could just focus on killing pretty hard turn 2 and 3, and then if you have enough people left, have 3 of them pick up 2 markers. And then you can just get your 6. That's kind of weird. It sucks, though, because it is a picked up marker, which means when you burrow, I think you drop it. Alright, Broshi. So yeah, that means dominate might be a good one into enemies that you're pretty sure you're not going to die against. Track enemy is probably the second best, or at least close to as good. Like for me, honestly, track enemy for my mandrakes still top tier, and the fact that it's 1 AP less means I can tinker around and do other stuff before teleporting, or even teleport then dash to like a better position. This is an odd team. I feel like two things. Either I'm missing something and the tunnel is better. Still require the operative to be in the kill zone. Yeah, you have to stay in the kill zone. You can't leave it for surveillance. I feel like I'm either missing something important. But we looked at this. So your first tunnel will be here. That's pointless. Second tunnel will be here. But then second tunnel means you can pop out. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can be here. Or charge to here. I guess it's okay. Because it's a safe way to get someone within a 7-inch charge range. If you beeline it for like middle or something. So maybe you can make something happen just going straight for the middle objective with it. And then veering it. Like, if anything, I would, in this situation, I would put like tunnel 1 here, tunnel 2 here. Tunnel 3 would go, hopefully in a way, like here. I'd pre-measure. Straight up pre-measure this to make sure it works. But third tunnel would have to be like here. That way I could pop someone up and then 7-inch charge. And then from here, I would start going this way. So turn 1, 2, 3, and then probably 4. And then you would use the terror and the other one that can put poison damage on people from within tunnel into the tunnel, leaving you 3 guys on the field. The Venom Spitter, who hopefully you can get to a good position to just hose people. Maybe the leader stays active. He's pretty good, pretty defensive. Who else would be good? Because, yeah, you have to think of who you're leaving on the field. The ones that get the most benefit out of the tunnel is the Tremor Scythe and the Fell Talon. So having these 2 in the tunnel. And then the Prime, Venom, and Wrecker maybe on the field, or the Wrecker in, leaving just the Prime and Venom on field. Maybe that's the way to go. Because I think it said you only need 2 on field, right? You have to initially put down the first 2. And then everyone else could be set up in tunnel if you need. Yeah, your first 2 operatives must be set up as normal. Well, good luck, man. Take pictures. I think that's probably key, though. Look at the deployment maps that are normal. And then try and mind game where your tunnels need to go and why. I think that's it. Tunnels. Need to put them places that are obnoxious. And remember that your Raveners in the tunnels are activatable. So your turn 1, you could literally be like, this guy activates inside the tunnel, and then he passes. Go. So you'll have 3 total people if you have 3 guys in the tunnels to fish with. To be like, all right, you can go with those. We can go with your people. That's fine. And then see what the enemy does, and then make decisions based on that. It was an okay stream. Sadly, stream broke early for some reason. I don't understand. I'll have to figure out how to get rid of one of these things I've got running that might have caused the problem. But yeah, cool stuff. Good. We did some good things today. This was super fun. I'm going to do the basing off stream because that's mostly just busy work and boring with a lot of glue. Sub-assembled for this. And then, yeah, pretty much Demon Prince in scale. Slightly taller, but about the same width. IMO, if I bought... I hate that I'm thinking about this. I've got Torn of the Redeemed as my other one, but if I went to another Kill Team tournament at the store and won it and got another $100, I'm in with a shot of buying the second one of these for $5 more than this one was, to then make the other version, Synetheza or whatever, and having that be my other Winged Demon Prince so that I could have Dexeza, Synetheza, or whatever her name is, and then my conversion. The conversion I did of Sigvald. Yeah, super fun. Super fun. Alright, I'm gonna get going, though. Oh, try to get a little bit of work done before passing out tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Till next time, guys. Later.